An update on the talks between AEW and Warner Bros. Discovery over a brand new television contract. How many tickets have been distributed for the upcoming AEW All In pay-per-view at Wembley Stadium compared to last year? Ric Flair reportedly is done with All Elite Wrestling and is not being brought up when it comes to any future creative plans. Perry is reportedly also done and no longer coming back to AEW. An update on the makeup of the AEW Creative team. Bandido, when could he finally be getting cleared to return to action? Well, he's gone for medicals and physicals, but still has not been cleared. AJ Styles competes in a major crossover match in Pro Wrestling Noah, as well as Io Sky competing in a crossover match with Marigold. Plus, Natalya re-signs with WWE. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. It's been a busy weekend for yours truly. I've been traveling, but I promise I'm giving you a news video today. So let's get into the latest pro wrestling news, starting with negotiations between AEW and Warner Bros. Discovery. Now, all the stuff happened last night on SmackDown. We'll actually be covering that in a news video tomorrow. But negotiations are reportedly still ongoing between AEW and its broadcast partner, Warner Bros. Discovery, which owns the TBS and TNT channels that air AEW's weekly shows, with their existing agreement due to expire later this year. Reporting on the matter during this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer noted that the deal has yet to be completed, despite rumblings indicated that was the case, with a recent talk said to be moving forward towards the goal of closing. He further noted that there have been no talks with other broadcasters at this stage. Now, AEW's negotiations come at a seemingly inopportune time if the promotion's recent low television ratings end up impacting the valuation of the AEW product. On the other hand, many have argued that WBD may need AEW more than ever if they end up losing the broadcasting rights to the NBA basketball during its own media rights negotiations. The NBA is reportedly closing a deal with Amazon, NBC, and ESPN, although WBD retains a right to match the current offer. But Meltzer continued to note that would not necessarily be true owing to new deals with Mountain West Football, Big East Conference Basketball, and NASCAR to go along with March Madness, NHL Hockey, and MLB Baseball. WBD is also expected to push hard for UFC rights, which would likely have a direct implication to Saturday night's AEW Collision, whether it be a day or a channel move. In closing, Meltzer pointed to the recently announced collaboration between AEW and WBD IP's DC Comics and Adult Swim, noting that the announcement appears indicative that both parties expect to close a deal soon. Now, ticket updates for AEW All In. Of course, that comes next month at Wembley Stadium. So, just how many tickets have been distributed for the show? Well, AEW is firmly on the road to Wembley Stadium as the card for AEW All In is starting to come together. Following the most recent AEW Dynamite, the matches for the AEW World and Women's World Championships have been confirmed, with Swerve Strickland defending his title against Bryan Danielson, while timeless Toni Storm will face former protege Mariah May. Outside of the card, the biggest talking point about All In is the attendance. The 2023 figure of 81,035 broke the world record for the most paid attendance for a wrestling show, but the turnstile count eventually came in at just under 73,000. However, what will the figure be for 2024? In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer touched on where he thinks the eventual attendance figure will end up. At the time of this recording, just under 41,000 tickets have been distributed for the 2024 events, with the current setup equipped to hold just over 51,000 fans, according to WrestleTix. However, Meltzer noted that people within AEW have claimed that 45,000 tickets have been sold before any matches had been officially announced. Regardless of what number is true, Meltzer claimed that there is a sense of confidence within AEW that tickets will begin to move at a quicker rate now that the card is being confirmed, as well as the fact that the company will be in the UK much earlier than last year for media and the August 21 taping of Dynamite and Collision in Cardiff. The goal, as of right now, looks to be 50,000 for AEW President Tony Khan, which Meltzer believes will be considered a success if they hit that number, and with over 6 weeks to go until bell time, there is every chance that number could be surpassed if the show builds as much anticipation as last year. What number do you think AEW All In is going to end up at? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Now, Ric Flair, what's the latest with the Nature Boy and AEW? Well, the answer, not that much. In October 2023, AEW President Tony Khan announced that he had a special surprise for Sting ahead of the Icon's impending retirement at Revolution in 2024, with the surprise turning out to be none other than the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Due to their extended history, Flair promised to be by Sting's side on his road to retirement, which he did as he appeared on a number of episodes of AEW television and was present for Sting's final match at Revolution. However, after taking a super kick from the Young Bucks, he hasn't been seen since, leading some to wonder where Flair is. According to Fightful Select, it seems that Flair's days in AEW are done. Per Sean Ross Sapp, Flair hasn't been at AEW events since Revolution and isn't being factored into any creative plans for the future, having not been brought up in conversation for quite some time. When it was announced that Flair had signed a multi-year deal with AEW, part of the deal was for his energy drink, Woo Energy, to be featured heavily on AEW programming as the official energy drink for the promotion. With Flair seemingly no longer in AEW, that partnership has effectively finished, with the deal basically paying for the appearances that Flair made in AEW. Flair's signing was met with a lot of backlash from fans on social media due to details of his checkered past coming to the forefront in recent years. The most notable being the episode of Vice TV's Dark Side of the Ring that focused on the infamous plane ride from hell, in which the flight attendant interviewed for the show described Flair being sexually aggressive towards her, as well as exposing himself to her and everyone else on the plane. So if we get any more details on Flair's future or lack thereof in AEW, we'll of course let you know. Now, speaking of someone with little future in AEW, CJ Perry is gone from the company. According to Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, CJ Perry is no longer with AEW and hasn't been for quite some time. CJ Perry, the former Lana, confirmed to USA Today that her time with All Elite Wrestling has finished up. It was mentioned previously in the spring that she wasn't expected to be back in the company or factored into any creative plans. AEW confirmed to Fightful that Perry actually was part of the April set of releases. Though she had originally come into the company on a per appearance deal, she'd signed a contract along the way. Perry's AEW run was impeded by injuries both to her and on-screen clients along the way. Now, speaking of creative, we've got an update on the AEW Creative team and just what is it and who is it consisting of right now. While AEW President Tony Khan is the company's head of creative, there are many different people who work behind the scenes to bring different aspects of the show to television screens. In recent months, QT Marshall has returned to the company strictly in a backstage role, and former WWE writer Jennifer Pepperman has been recruited as someone who can focus on the women's division, and more specifically AEW TBS and New Japan Strong Women's Champion Mercedes Moné. In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer had some notes about both Marshall and Pepperman in terms of how they have settled into their roles in AEW. For Marshall, being on the creative team is reportedly affecting his ability to work as a wrestler in AAA, with Meltzer noting that fans shouldn't expect to see Marshall back in Mexico anytime soon, despite AAA's head booker Conan being high on him as a solid foreign heel. As far as Pepperman goes, her role is a little less defined than what people may have first thought. When she signed with AEW in February, many assumed that she would be solely working with the company's women's division, while others believed her to be Moné's personal writer. However, while she is Moné's go-to person with coming up with segments and stories, she is not the head booker of the women's division, and she has worked with the male roster too. Pepperman has received a lot of praise as of late, with notable examples being the ongoing feud between Moné and Britt Baker, as well as her promo work with AEW International Champion Will Ospreay and the Ring of Honor World Champion Mark Briscoe, both of whom had in-ring promos on recent episodes of AEW Dynamite. Now, Bandido, what is the latest with him and when can we expect to see him back in action, given his recent injury troubles over the last year? Well, AEW star Bandido has been out of action for over a year after reportedly breaking his wrist during a June 2023 match against Konosuke Takeshita. After first going under the knife in the weeks following the injury, Bandido was then forced to undergo a second surgery later on in 2023, and the luchador is yet to return to in-ring action. However, there seems to be a small degree of positive movement on that front. In the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer states that Bandido recently underwent a test in an attempt to get cleared for action. Now, he was unable to get medical clearance, but will attempt another exam at the end of the month. Even if he was to get cleared, however, Meltzer predicted that it would be too late to get Bandido involved in time for AEW All In at Wembley Stadium. According to Meltzer, former AAA stars Bandido and Dragon Lee are in a race to see who becomes the biggest star. Lee was signed by WWE in late 2022, a short time after Bandido signed his contract with AEW. At the time, it was reported that both AEW and WWE had significant interest in signing Bandido. While Bandido is injured, Lee has become a member of WWE's Latino World Order faction, most recently teaming with Joaquin Wilde on WWE Main Event. Now, we've seen quite a few WWE stars in international crossover matches today, the first being AJ Styles. Now, AJ Styles was in Pro Wrestling Noah today, having a match against Namochi Marufuji, with Styles' match against Marufuji first announced in June. Many fans expected this crossover bout to be a match of the year contender. The duo faced off today at the Noah Destination event in the penultimate match of the night. Following 25 minutes of back and forth action, AJ Styles ultimately picked up the victory, getting a pinfall following a Styles clash. Styles and Marufuji showed respect to one another following the bout, and certainly it was talked about a lot on social media. Speaking of crossover matches, Io Sky was in Marigold today competing too. As previously reported, former WWE Women's Champion Io Sky revealed that she would return to Japan to compete against Yutami Hayashishita on the Marigold Summer Destiny event. The bout marked the first time back in Japan for the former Io Shirai since she left Stardom back in 2018. At Marigold Summer Destiny, Sky defeated Hayashishita in a Queen of Queen match. Sky entered the match to her WWE theme music and wore a mask similar to the one that she used during her run in Stardom. And finally, an update when it comes to the future of Natalya in WWE, as she has finally put pen to paper and re-signed with the company. Now, Fightful Select Sean Ross Sapp has confirmed a report from PW Insider that Natalya has re-signed with WWE. The deal was completed in late June, shortly before it expired. Fightful noted that she was not at Raw last week, but Fightful had been told that there was already a deal in place by then. She has not been at any WWE shows since re-signing. Sapp learned that WWE started talks with Natalya in May. Fightful have been told that Natalya was looking to make sure outside projects that she was working on lined up with the terms of the deal. She's been with WWE as part of the main roster for nearly 17 years and holds numerous records. Sources have confirmed with Fightful that the deal was a multi-year contract. Now, Natalya had interest outside of WWE, but most companies expected her to stay with the promotion. There was also interest in her husband, TJ Wilson, as a producer in multiple companies. Fightful have been told that WWE learned that losing Natalya was a real possibility and wanted to get her signed long-term before she hit the free agency period. Ultimately, the two sides got a deal done before her contract expired, so she's going to be sticking around with WWE for the foreseeable future. But there you go, guys, the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.